Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Sports Debunked. And today I just happened to check my calendar and it turns out it's again that time of the year where we wait for one of the marquee events in the world of international sports to occur. And this time it's the Copa Americas and the Euros in world football. The Euros start on the 14th of June 2024 with Germany rolling the ball up against Scotland. The footballing world is going through a great phase of transition at this moment, with names like Toni Kroos, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo being transitioned by names like Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. So you know what I thought was a great topic to make a video on? Yes, you guessed that right. Who among these youngsters have the potential to replace these legendary athletes? Will it be a Vinicius Jr. versus Kylian Mbappe era for the next 10 years? But apparently it seems like that was not the fate, and both of them are now just teammates. So in this video we are basically going to talk about 5 promising talents in Euros who can basically outshine even the big names in this tournament. So without any further ado, let's get to the list. So the first name that we have on our list is of the 23-year-old Dutch right midfielder Jeremy Frimpong from the almost invincible side of Bayern Leverkusen. Frimpong was one of the stalwarts of Xabi Alonso's men in their 51 games unbeaten season, scoring 18 goals in all tournaments this season. Frimpong is one such player who has extremely good presence and has pretty decent pace, and with Frankie de Jong injured, he could be one of the main men that Ronald Koeman can look up to fill up the void left by the Dutch midfielder playing for Barcelona. At the number 4 spot, we have the Turkish Los Blancos midfielder Arda Guler. Arda Guler was bought by Real Madrid for 22 million euros. Arda Guler's reception at the Santiago Bernabeu has been mixed, with some people praising him for his immense potential while some bashing the Los Blancos for investing in an absolute futile purchase. But in my opinion, he has immense potential if tapped correctly by the Turkish manager, can propel his career to the entirely new trajectory. Since his arrival in La Liga, he has had a pretty average season so far with only 6 goals and 4 starts. But if you look at his age, then he has a lot of time ahead of him to prove himself out, and in my opinion is one of the most promising players to look out for in the Euros and is one of the biggest assets for Real Madrid. Now you may say that I'm over exaggerating a bit given the fact that they have Rodrigo, they have Mbappe, they have Vinicius Jr. But believe me, this guy Arda Guler may have a lot of potential within him, which under Carlo Ancelotti can explode to propel his career to an entirely new level. At the number 3 spot, we have the Spanish Blaugrana of Lamine Yamal. Now, when we talk about Yamal, there is not much to talk about other than the fact that he is raw talent. The boy has immense talent, immense skill within him, but he lacks a bit of maturity in my opinion. During his match against Paris Saint-Germain in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, even after being just 16 to 17 years old, he was arguably the most brilliant player from the Blaugrana, outshining even greats like Robert Lewandowski and more experienced players like Rafinha. Yamal, if exploited properly, could basically help Spain win the Euros. Now that may seem like a huge claim, but in my opinion, the lad has immense potential within himself. Now then again, a lot of people will say that the same thing was said about Ansu Fati, but believe me, Yamal has raw skill. And in football, when you see a player with this much amount of raw skill, which at the present times are pretty rare to be found at the age of only 16 or 17 years old. So he's definitely one of the big names in my opinion in terms of talent to look out for in the present Euros. At the number 2 spot, we have the German attacking midfielder Jamal Musiala from Bayern Munich. Now when we talk about Musiala, we talk about brilliance. Very few players are there in the world who can produce the same amount of magic on the field like Musiala. When I see him play, it reminds me of all-time greats like Zinedine Zidane and Toni Kroos at their prime. Sometimes stats don't speak everything about players. And when I think about this quote, one of the players that comes to my mind is Jamal Musiala. Musiala's ability to manipulate the ball on the field is definitely one of his standout traits, and that is one of the key reasons that I compare him to all-time greats like Zinedine Zidane, Andres Iniesta and Toni Kroos. So Musiala, definitely one of the players to look out for, and given the fact that Germany are definitely at an all-time low in their footballing history, he well very may be the key to their success. And finally, we have reached the end of our list, but not quite yet. We still have the number 1 player. And in my opinion, the player to really look out for in the Euros 2024 is Florian Wirtz. The German attacking midfielder from the almost invincible side of Xabi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen is in my opinion one of the best German midfielders in the world at the moment. His stats may not speak everything about him given the fact that he only has 11 goals and 12 assists in Bundesliga. Musiala and Wirtz, both German national midfielders, both of similar ages, both playing for Bayern teams, obviously one for Leverkusen and one for Munich. But boy oh boy, can their pairing really explode the Euros this season and can definitely help Germany win the Euros and end their trophy drought since 2017 Confederations Cup. Now, Wirtz may not possess the stealthy feat of Musiala, but is arguably a better goal scorer and has scored some amazing goals this season. Now, the Musiala-Wirtz pairing is definitely one to look up for, and Nagelsmann is really up for a treat. And if he can really do the pairing right and have a good chemistry between these two lads, then we may very well see another Xavi Iniesta. Now, obviously, a lot of people can say that, okay, you are over-exaggerating everyone on this list, but then, hey, again, these are young players. They have immense raw potential within themselves. So if we don't push them forward, how else are we going to get to know true potentials? And the team, in my opinion, that very well may not be the main contender to win the Euros, given the fact that we have France and England, but Germany can very well make their comeback in this Euro, which has been long overdue. With this, I will see you in a new video. Bye bye till then.